Hey everybody, Aaron Trevino here. Just wanted to share with you a video we did. It was actually a Zoom meetup we did this past week called The Future of Airbnb. We had all sorts of folks join us from different facets of life, different facets of real estate, getting together to talk about Airbnb. We talked about how to get started, maybe pitfalls and mistakes you can make when starting out on Airbnb, how to cash flow your Airbnb, how to market your Airbnb, everything Airbnb, right? So we had a great time. It was a great Zoom meetup, and just wanted to share this with y'all and hope you enjoy. How you doing, Michael?
Hey, how's it going?
Well, how about yourself?
I'm doing well. My cousin Ryan told me all about you.
Okay.
I'm glad to meet you tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
You out in you mentioned Connecticut, right?
Yeah, I'm out in Connecticut.
Okay. How's it been
Yeah.
out there?
Thunderstorms, pretty hot as far as the normal temperature right now, but raining off and on. Like we're in a tropical area right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's man, it's great to connect with you, Michael. I know that Ryan had mentioned you a while back, so it's great to, put a name to a face, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So did he tell you I do commercial real estate financing?
Yes, sir, a little bit, but I didn't get too much on what you do.
I do 1 to 4 unit properties and anything up to like commercial real estate as far as buildings and different things of that nature.
All right, very good.
How you doing, Michael? How you doing?
Hey, what's up? What's up, cousin?
Nothing much.
What's going on, Ryan? Justin, how you doing, man? Yeah, great. No, I mean, we got a good group here, man. So Justin is from the Valley, connected with him last year. I don't know if y'all saw, we actually did a great YouTube video, and he's an Airbnb investor. And I'm excited to see what Justin's going to do in the future.
What part of the valley you in?
I live in Williston County, so like about 20 minutes north of Harlingen.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, heck yeah. So we got Justin coming in from the Valley. Ryan is one of my good friends, marketing guy, and he's really interested in real estate. He's got, some pretty neat ideas. And Justin, actually, Ryan is cousins with Michael, so that's kind of how we linked up here.
Okay, cool. And they're from where?
So I'm from Corpus, but have been living in Austin since 2012. Mikey, you can kind of explain where you where you're at now.
I'm from Austin originally, grew up in Austin for 27 years and moved out to Connecticut back in 2009. And y'all excuse me, I was out enjoying myself. So me and my buddy out here smoking cigars. But I wanted to join on the call because I've been telling Ryan that we need to do a call. So I didn't want to flake out on him.
There we go, man. Ryan, I'm glad you're getting the word out, man. And Michael, I'm curious, what got you interested in Airbnb?
Honestly, the request from my cousin today.
Okay.
Because I'm involved in real estate, but I'm on the financing side. But I work with clients to finance their properties. So I'm helping a guy right now finance a 3-family, purchase a 3-family with me. I did the financing for him. And, I have a couple other clients that'll be doing some financing in the future.
Okay, very good. That's awesome. And Ryan, were you able to speak to Michael? Because you were up there, a few years back?
Yeah, in 2015 was the last time I was up in the tri-state.
Okay. Yeah, very good.
So of course he's my cousin. He didn't tell me anything. He just used his relationship to get me on here. He bait and switch me.
He didn't ask any questions. I thought he understood it. No,
it's okay. It's okay though. I give him that level of respect, so it's fine. I'll learn about everything you want to tell me about right now.
Understands being in construction better than I could explain it. So that's why there's no reason for me to have explained it.
I ain't give him a hard time.
That's funny, man. I love it. Matt, Chris, what's going on?
Hey, nothing much, just here. I just got done, watching the football game in the other room, so I had to rush on.
Tonight?
The Patriots and Eagles.
How's Cam looking?
He's looking decent. Eagles not so good. They drove down and scored a touchdown, so I mean,
Eagles got to still build some chemistry. They picked up a whole lot of new people this year.
yeah. Either way, I don't think I'm picking up too many people in fantasy football from the Patriots. So
Oh man, that wide receiver and Cam, I think I'll get them if they're
Yeah.
available, and if they're the best available, I should say.
yeah, I mean, I'd pick them up probably like the 9th or 10th round, but probably nothing earlier than that.
I forgot the receiver's name, the one that they picked up. They actually got a good receiver this year.
Yeah, I forget his name, honestly.
Yeah, I forget his name too. But I've been hearing good things about him because I'm up here in Connecticut. It's not too far from Boston.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
so I hear a lot about them.
And we got
Where are you guys all from?
I'm in Connecticut.
I'm from Corpus Christi, Texas. So I grew up with Aaron, played baseball together in high school.
Okay.
You went to King?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm from Corpus, but I've been in Austin since 2012. So
Oh, yeah.
since middle school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, Chris has a pretty neat story, man. So Chris was actually featured me growing up in Corpus, great athlete. He went off, into the military and was overseas for a bit. He came home and he's doing some neat things with real estate. So it was cool. We got to connect last weekend in San Antonio, and here we are.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty cool to catch up and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, I'm glad to see you. How you been?
Good, man. Good. Just losing my mind over kids. But other than that, real estate is doing well. And
For those of y'all who don't know Matt, his name on Instagram is Investor Dad Matt, right?
yeah, that's it.
There you go, Investor Dad Matt.
So Matt, what do you do in real estate?
And a whole myriad of things. I got multifamily, just do single family flips. I got an Airbnb. I actually recently got in the commercial space and into laundromats. Man, and you guys got
Nice.
Like, it was really funny. My wife, one of my business partners, she's like, dude, what do you know about laundromats? And then we started down the path and I told my wife and she's like, laundromats? Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, who runs a laundromat? And then you start running the numbers and they cash flow like crazy.
Yes, they do. I have a friend up here right now asking me about laundromats. I might need to connect you and him.
Let's do it, man.
They looking to acquire the first laundromat.
Okay. Yeah, we got a commercial building back in February and we closed on that, and then we bought the mat with it, and then we're renovating the whole thing right now. And then we've got 2 more under contract. We're working on trying to get an SBA loan and close those out hopefully in like the next month.
Man, you already got your finance people? I do real estate finance.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So, and I fund all types of projects. So.
Okay. Man,
Like
see,
right
I love
now,
it.
I'm
Love
working
these
on-
calls. You get to connect and network, and hey, build projects this way.
I'm working on a $17 million project up here, 140 units and some commercial space.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So,
Matt, what area are you out of right now?
Oh God, I'm in northern Michigan. You know where the Upper Peninsula is? Any of you guys like snow?
I was gonna say that sounds cold. Sounds cold.
I like snow, but not that much.
I'm from Corpus. I like, give me some sunlight and a palm tree. I'm good.
As long as it's within the 3 months that the season is supposed to last, I'm good.
Yeah. Come in summer. It's nice though.
Yeah, exactly.
Ian, come
I
in.
like the
Come on,
season
Ian.
change.
What's that, Aaron?
Just
Oh,
send
Ian.
Ian here.
What's going on, Aaron? Appreciate the invite. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, man?
I'm a realtor here in Atlanta. Just coming here to learn, soak up some game from y'all. Appreciate you putting this on.
Whereabouts in Atlanta?
I'm in Morningside near Midtown. You know where that is?
Okay.
Like Virginia Island.
We were just
Yeah.
talking. That's where we got our laundromat. We got it over in Powder Springs. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting to, I got a partner down there. He's in Calhoun. And so I'm grasping the whole Atlanta metro area.
It's funny what you guys call Atlanta, man. Atlanta, like, to y'all is like the whole state of Georgia, Like Calhoun, I don't even know where that is. I know where Powder Springs is, but yeah, I'm right in the city, right in the thick of it. But I got a buddy, ironically, looking to buy a laundromat as well. I wonder if he's on here.
He got lazy with it.
But yeah, appreciate you guys putting this on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you. Great to see you, Ian. So Ian, like you said, is a realtor in Atlanta, podcast guest as well. He does a bit dealing with clients who do construction. So glad to have you on, man.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that was a great on you podcast. You're a killer on there.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Well, yeah, thank you everyone for coming on. I think we got a pretty solid group here just in terms of what we have going on. A lot of different people from different parts of the country, a little bit of that Corpus commonality, right? We have some folks from the Southeast, up north, and then also the Rio Grande Valley too, which I'm very personally interested. Unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know Elon Musk is moving down there to do some cool projects, and Justin has some Airbnbs in that area as well.
That's Texas, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the very tip, at the very bottom of Texas. But yeah, I mean, I just figured we'd start off with a short intro, just really kind of seeing, kind of this, what page everyone's on and really what got you interested in Airbnb. It's crazy how we decided to do the Zoom on this day, because the first thing when I got into the office this morning, my boss called me and said, hey, I'm just coming in from Houston, blah, blah, blah. I'm on the road, come back to Austin, right? So he's come back in Austin. He has me on the phone. He's like, hey, did you hear about so-and-so's cash flow on his deal? And I said, no. And he's saying how our client who we helped build townhomes, we helped him build 3 townhome units. He's making $24K a month on Airbnb alone just for those properties.
Yeah, dude. We got one of my partners he's got 4 of them in Tennessee, and he's rolling near $20,000 a month on 4 of them. And even it's crazy. Like, I think this is where you can get it in all sorts of different markets. Like I said, I'm in the upper peninsula of Michigan. Nobody knows where it is. I've got a house that I rebuilt. I paid $40,000 for, put probably 30 into it. And this thing cash flow, it rolls Airbnb between $2,500 and $4,500 a month. And my monthly payments are $500 on it. And these little tertiary markets is such a great investment.
What do you guys do to, as far as when you target in those areas, what do you do as far as research to understand whether the Airbnb is going to be successful?
Have you guys heard of AirDNA?
No.
It's called AirDNA, and it'll basically, you can get a subscription to it, but it also, I think you can get just a free trial on it. Basically, the average cost of what Airbnbs are in any zip code.
And AirDNA?
AirDNA.com.
City, let's say you want to go into, Gettysburg, Tennessee, or you want to go to Joshua Tree, California. You can look in that area, set it up yourself and say, hey, next weekend I want to go there. What's the price range in that area? What are the houses going for per night on the weekends, 4th of July? Is it off season? If you want to look into December or maybe in February and say, okay, well, the price each night is going to be $100, but during the season, it's $400 a night. So you can check around your area. It doesn't necessarily have to be inside the city, downtown. It could be, 50 miles out. There might be a large prison where people are coming to visit their family. Or it might be a theme park. There might be, something that's out of the ordinary. That if there's a hotel nearby, there's a need for Airbnb.
Oh, Aaron, what was the question you were about to pose? I think we may have already started talking about it, but go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was really just wanting to see what got y'all interested in Airbnb, right? Because out of anything there, you could do anything. You could do flips or construction, buying notes, or really any facet of real estate. What really speaks to you about Airbnb?
I'll start. Out of this group, I'm 100% the novice. I don't work in real estate. I don't have any property yet. I'm really coming here just to learn. And I was talking with me and Aaron are close, and we were talking about this. And he asked me this question some time ago, and I was like, I don't know. And then as I started to think about it, I was like, okay, I'm looking to buy a home, right? But then on top of that, I was like, okay, how am I going to pay for it? Do I want roommates? All those types of things. I was like, I really don't, but I may have to. And then he started talking about Airbnb, and then my brain started going into, well, now I can have more control. I don't have to have a one-time payment and have someone live there all 30 days of the month. And it's a long-term commitment. And then Airbnb could possibly be a way to earn the same, if not more, especially during on seasons, right? Versus off season. And use that to my advantage. If I'm there, if I'm not there, I can use that to my advantage and only do it, shorter than a long-term, like, hey, this person lives there for a whole year, and then all those things. So that little things like that, where I don't even know how important that is to consider that early on, is what I'm really looking to gain here. Because if he wouldn't have asked me that question or like talked about Airbnb, I would have had no idea that this could be like a viable solution or like an alternate solution to something I wanted to do. So I'm really interested. Now I'm like, that's what I want to do, instead of having someone live there and sign a sublease or something. No, I want to do Airbnb, and I can control it. I can dictate the prices. I live in Austin, South by Southwest, where prices are at a premium.
Yeah,
I could do that versus, during the off season where it'd be a lower price. But it was really cool to just sit there and see. He was looking at me, just watching my wheels turn, kind of like I am right now, because I'm so new to it. But it's really interesting, all the things that I think people don't think about when they talk about real estate or Airbnb in general.
A great leverage point. It's even like the same analogy as like you live in a duplex or a triplex, right? You buy that and then you rent the other sides out. Like my wife and I did that for a year. Like we owned a duplex, rented the other side out, but we could have totally Airbnb'd it. And if you do something like that, your cash flow could be even way higher compared to just like renting it to yearly tenants.
Right.
What's great about Austin is it's a year round. There's not really an off season in Austin.
Yeah.
You've got spring break with, South by Southwest. You've got ACL. You've had concerts year round. You have people coming into the city just to party on 6th Street. So they really don't have an off season. So Austin is constantly one of those places where people are constantly visiting there.
Yeah. And like you said, even in like those, because I was looking at properties not in the middle of the city, because that's wild, but in like Maynard, Del Valley, and Buda, just right on the outskirts, maybe like 20, 25 minutes out from downtown. And I think people still are looking at those areas as a place, because you get a big, more value for the property there, even if you're going to buy an Airbnb to like stay there for a couple of days.
That's always a good trend, is like when you go, and I like to tell the story of when we lived in Colorado from like 2011 to 2018. And it was like one of the biggest booms in real estate, like around the country. And all of those suburbs that go around big cities like that. I mean, well, yeah, Ian, you're in Atlanta, like stuff that's going on outside the suburbs, that place is just, the suburbs are booming, and it just goes out from the city like this because people out.
So I'm seeing so many people jumping into Airbnb, especially investors that were buying a lot of deals, probably smaller scale investors. And I see it so much. They're buying Airbnbs on their cash flow as an Airbnb, but not like, they don't really have an exit strategy. So I'm looking at like times like this, or last year when there's a bunch of mandates and lockdowns, and that kind of stalls it. I guess my question for y'all is like, what's your exit strategy if you're buying an Airbnb, just Airbnb? Do you also kind of look at your regular rental numbers on it? Because prices have gone nuts, like Austin, like anywhere else. So I was gonna say, go ahead.
Well, to answer Aaron's question first is the cash flow. That's why I jumped into Airbnb. The cash flow, I can make between, in a small little area, in one of my fourplexes, I have one Airbnb. I'm making $1,500 to $2,000 a month. That pays for the entire fourplex by itself. That's why I jumped on Airbnb. And my exit strategy for your question is long-term rentals again. I'm only going to make maybe $110 a door every month, but I'm going to have a long-term renter. Or at the end of the day, I can just sell it off, make the profit. I've already gained so much equity. Like you said, the market's going so high. I gained $50,000 in equity just last year.
Yeah, it's like, dude, real estate always appreciates it.
Well, not always, but most of the time.
Most of the time.
Like, I'm looking at a deal right now for my primary residence. I'm like, do I want to buy this duplex in this really high-end neighborhood and Airbnb the other side? Where if I did it as a long-term rental, it wouldn't be that profitable. So I'm looking at that angle, but it won't make sense for me as a regular investment if I just lived on one side and rented out the other. It couldn't supplement it enough. But as Airbnb, I can justify it, and it's a badass house. But I just see myself in that situation,
So with like a duplex, you're going to need to put 20% down. But a single family home, you might just need an FHA loan and put 3.5.
Oh, it's owner occupied. Yeah, I'll just put down 3.
And then if it has its own unit and consider still a single family home, you can still have 2 units in one building, or one home. So you still have to
Do
only.
y'all do like room rentals? Like, did any of y'all kind of like house hack to the extreme and have Airbnbs, like rooms in your house, your Airbnb?
Not done that. That sounds stressful. Every time I see those on Airbnb, they're like room for rent. I'm like, no, I don't want to go there.
I feel like people want to have their own space. You know what I mean? They want to come in and have their own, have access to the washer and the dryer, the living room, the TVs. They really don't want somebody else there. And especially with COVID going on right now, I think maybe they don't want to meet the other person. They want like a lock to go in and just have their own space and time.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point there, Justin. Just kind of about that digital component, right? Where I'm not exactly sure of how that would work. Maybe you're remote, right? Maybe you live in Austin, but you have a property in the Valley or something like that, and you can't be there. How do you basically build a team? Do you have a cleaner, or do you have like a lock that'll change every time someone comes out? Or
yeah, so like I use the Yale Nest system. So it has a Nest lock. Every new tenant that comes in, every new guest, it changes their lock. Their checkout is at 11. I leave it to about 11:45 just in case they sleep late. But every new guest that comes in, they have their own code to go in. That's it. Haven't had any problems with that so far.
Justin, how do you set up cleaning services and stuff like that if you're not in the area?
Yeah, well, I have a friend that I pay that does the cleaning right now, because now I have 2 Airbnbs. I just started an Airbnb 2 Saturdays ago, and I'm fully booked for the entire month. So I don't have to worry about it. I do have fear that, maybe I'll have someone that's a squatter, but so far I've had people that have stayed for a month, 2 months. Especially during COVID, I had a physical therapist that stayed there for 2.5 months, and they're literally paying for the entire fourplex right there by itself.
Yeah, that's just based on the trends and all that kind of stuff, everybody's working remotely and they're going from city to city. So I can just see that they're traveling. There was more traveling nurses now than there ever was, and traveling doctors strictly because of COVID. And I know that because my sister-in-law is an RN, and my brother's a physical therapist. They know a lot of people in the medical field, and I mean they're already making a lot of money, right? So they're getting paid, almost double of what they're doing just to travel, and then they're getting their room paid for, they're getting their food paid for, they're getting extra days of leave and all that kind of stuff on top of it. So I mean, it's kind of like, why not, kind of thing.
Well, some of these RNs are working remotely. They're making $10,000 a week.
Yeah.
$10,000 a week to work. That's crazy. 4 days on.
$10,000 a week for an RN?
Yeah, because of COVID in the state of Texas.
My wife's an RN. She's taking care of our kids. I'm gonna send her back to work.
Yeah,
they're in dire need right now everywhere across the country.
Yeah, it's true.
It's crazy.
But just like Justin said, I'm on the same page as him. It's just cash flow. I just bought my first house. Aaron saw it. He walked by it. Walked around. It's kind of, my strategy is there's a military base in San Antonio, Lackland, which is the basic training. And I kind of know this because I was in the Air Force, but they graduate every weekend. So potentially they graduate, they're able to leave the base on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how good they are. So that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is a graduation. Saturday, they kind of do whatever they want. And then Sunday and Monday is whenever they leave to go back to training. So that's potentially 4 days out of the week guaranteed. Even if it's 2 times, a month, that's 8 days that I can rent out the Airbnb a month. And it's year round. It doesn't stop. So that's my strategy. I got it within 15 minutes from the base, which is, I think an Airbnb, a family would want to celebrate something like that because it's a big lifetime achievement and all that kind of stuff. So that's my goal. And then worst case scenario, it's close enough to the base to where I can rent it out to somebody that is stationed there. And going in, me being prior military, you can contact, if they're not paying, you can contact their commander, you can contact their supervisor and get that money back from their paycheck. So you're going to get that money back no matter what.
And what I like about San Antonio is there's 2 theme parks. It probably have the high season in the summer, right?
Yeah. And it's kind of now I think it's died down a little bit, but I think with the traffic flow in Austin and then the new with Tesla moving down south and all that stuff, San Antonio is a middleman. I mean, it's something you got to go through here no matter what. You can't just cut across it, or you can't just go around it, because that's just going to add time on your travel time. So it's more people, especially if they're moving from California or they're moving from other states, they're going to end up traveling through San Antonio at some point, whether it be, you know, they fly into Dallas or they fly into San Antonio and then they have to drive to Austin, or they fly into Austin after that.
Yeah, I feel like there's a ton of those, just tons of those areas around the country. It's like there's so many places where you can get these, you know, around the country. It's like my buddy, he's got 4 of them in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And I was just like, you know, what the hell's going on in Tennessee? And
Yeah.
I actually went
Dollywood, bro. Dollywood.
Yeah, Dollywood.
Yeah,
And they got
baby.
upside down buildings. Like,
Dude, that was my first memory. At 2 years old, I chased a chicken in the Dollywood Dixie Parade, dude. Dixie Stampede.
it's crazy. And I think one of the things, like, him and I had a really good conversation about it was this is like what drives me is like, I'm in an area, you know, like I'm from Michigan. I went to college in Upper Michigan. I have a real emotional connection. And so we've got this place. And I said, no matter what's going to happen, we're going to keep this for the long term. And I know there's areas around the country, like I would love to get one like down in Texas and down in Florida, down in these places that I've been to. And I would gladly take my family on vacation because you can own these places. And then this was so great. I went down to Tennessee with my business partner, and I like met him at his house. And I'm like, hey, what's good, man? Good to see you. And then I'm like, so you own this place, right? He's like, yep, we just got it for the week and we're going to hang out here and, you know, scope around. And he had some more under contract. So it was like, you know, he's on kind of like business vacation. So I don't know. That's my take with it is I like to tell people, if you get places like that, think about it as like you almost have a vacation place, but then a cash flowing asset that you can rent out like that.
Yeah, and I've been on vacation to where I went on a resort. You know how they go, hey, come to this thing, the timeshare thing, and we'll give you a free breakfast and all that kind of stuff. Well, you know, I listened to them because I knew it was the same pitch over and over again or whatever, but I just wanted the free breakfast and all that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, they were like, well, would you want to get a timeshare and stuff like that? And I kind of pissed them off because I was like, no. And they're like, well, why? I was like, because I can go buy a house, rent it out, and then go take vacation there whenever I want. And I'm making more profit and building equity on top of that. That's just my thinking, at least.
Yeah, and with timeshares, sometimes you only get 2 weeks out of the entire year to use that one, or sometimes they can allow you to use other places. But then again, there's still like tons of depreciation and you know, have to fix the roof. Everybody has to agree to it. Some people buy out. Sometimes it's just a hassle with timeshares.
Dude, if you go online and look for like people trying to sell timeshares, you can find so many too.
The ultimate thing with timeshares is you get no passive income.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're paying all this money into it, but you get nothing out of it.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks there blacked out for you.
Yeah, and it was just they kind of make it like seem like a fairy tale thing. And I was like, this is far from fairy tale. You're telling me I'm going to pay? I'm going to pay for somebody else's vacation and somebody else's, you know, to own the property or whatever. So it's just for 2 weeks.
Airbnbs have like changed the whole landscape. I heard like the best quote in the world was like the largest hotel company in the world doesn't own any hotels. Airbnb.
Yeah, I have this theory. It's if you make everybody's life easier just one bit, you're going to be a millionaire because everybody likes to streamline everything.
Yeah, and I mean, even like I had a bunch of conversations. There's another guy, Aaron, you probably know him, Austin, right? Austin Linney.
Linney.
He's a wizard with this, and he actually, his business partner, who's my partner now, they started in the Airbnb business, but then broke up and went their separate ways, but I still stay in good contact with him. But he again gave an analogy with Airbnb. He's like, dude, you could own 4 or 5 Airbnbs and like you'll be set for life with the amount of passive income that you create from them. It creates, you know, if you can live off of $5,000 a month, which is plenty for so many places around America, you can be set. You can be in a very good financial position.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. No, finish that because I had a different question. Go ahead. Finish.
Hey guys, I got to run.
Yeah.
Great conversation. Appreciate it, but I got a boogie.
Yeah.
We
Appreciate it, Matt.
We can get in touch, Matt.
Nice meeting you guys.
Yeah. Right now, I'm kind of in a unique situation because I just figured out it's even more unique because I'm using my VA loan right now. So I pretty much put zero down with the thought of flipping this into Airbnb anyways. So rather than putting stuff down, I put that what I was going to put down into flipping the house and making it look better and all that kind of stuff. And even with the zero down, I had something like 3.8% interest or something like that because everything's low. But I just figured out that I can get another loan and I forgot my mind just went blank, but get another loan to cover the VA, and then I'll get my VA back, and I can when I want to get a new house, I use my VA and just do that continuously. So that's one of my plans. And I don't know if any of y'all have came around or somebody that's done that or has used their VA loan to turn it into Airbnb.
Yeah, well, he didn't. I have a client, so I work with clients here in Connecticut, and I have a client. He uses his VA to acquire his property, but he's more long term, has tenants sit there, whatever. But then, he has exit strategies when it comes to that. Yeah. So like he just exited out at one of his properties, and then he freed his VA up again, and now he's purchasing another property.
Yeah, and that's what I figured out. And they kind of tell you when you leave the military, but it's kind of like, get the hell out. You're kind of like, thank you for your service, but, we got, the transition kind of thing. They'll help you transition, but they can only help you enough. It's kind of like you can only experience this in the real world.
And then are you in Austin? You're in Austin?
I'm in San Antonio.
Oh, so you're in San Antonio. So the same thing will be happening in San Antonio. So I was working with my mother, and my mother is in Austin.
Yeah.
Her house has appreciated $200,000 in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
So I believe the same thing is coming to San Antonio as soon as Austin is over capacity. And it's probably happening in San Antonio right now as we speak. And if you get your VA loan, hold the property, and like you said, go in and do the remodeling and Airbnb it out, cash flow it, make sure you paying the mortgage. And probably about 6 to 12 months, you could probably go back in and do a refinance.
Yeah, that's
and then pay that off.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, refinance, but it just slipped my mind. And I just figured that one out, not too long ago, because my buddy, he did that, and he just did it, and he just told me about it. So,
but you can't use your VA loan, like you couldn't get another VA loan if you've already got that refinance, right?
So
you can't hold two VAs
as long as they pay it off, as long as they pay the VA loan off in full, they get credit back toward them being able to get another one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I gotta. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just curious in terms of really how to evaluate properties for Airbnb, right? So I mean, I'm assuming that the way you look at a property to flip a house or do a new construction deal is different from Airbnb. I mean, when you're looking for deals, what really screams to you, hey, this could be a good Airbnb?
So for me, I do analysis for my clients all the time. What we look at cash flow. We look at return on investment. We look at exit strategies. Do you want to hold this short term, long term, all those good things? So we take a full assessment of those. And the credit of what you guys have been sharing on here, from now on, I will go in and do an Airbnb analysis of what could possibly be the Airbnb return versus regular return that I normally analyze. But you want to do those side-by-side comparisons, right? Because, like in Austin, rents are appreciating by the second. You know what I'm saying? So what's better, Airbnb or the consistent rent? So it's all about the vacancy rate to me when I'm thinking about what you guys have shared and versus. So am I going to be without an Airbnb tenant for an extended amount of time? And what are those extended amount of times? And how does that affect my cash flow and my return on investment?
Yeah, definitely. Great insight there, Michael. What were you going to say, Ryan?
Sorry, I was just gonna ask a question because, like I said, I'm very new to this, and I'm just trying to get my own first property within hopefully the next year. And so, again, Aaron posed this Airbnb question. So I hate it to be like, well, what would you recommend for a first time? But truly, in my situation, I'm 27 years old. How would you recommend, or what kind of guidance would you give someone like me for a first time buyer? Things I may not know about that I can use to my advantage. I live in the Austin area, but prices are homes that I'm looking at are going to be in the outskirts, Dale Valley, Manor, and Buda. And what should I what would be the smartest way, or the type of guidelines, or just different advice? It doesn't have to be all the same that any of y'all would give?
I would like to answer that question, because this is my cousin. And Ryan, you know how long I've been a renter.
Know this answer. Yeah.
I just became a homeowner last year, but my philosophy behind being a renter was that I would always do my investment property. So I would recommend, just based on my knowledge of how banks lend, I would recommend you either going into a multifamily and you moving into one of the units, just because from a perspective of lending, when you go into a multifamily and you're a primary owner, they're going to give you credit regardless if you have a renter or not. So you can have a 3-unit property, you don't have a lease yet, but we know there's 3 units in there. You're going to live in one, and then the 2 that are capable of being rented out, we're going to look at those properties and we're going to understand the market rate rent. And then as a result of us understanding the market rate rent, we're going to give you 75% of the credit of what the market rate rent is and add that back to your income, so that from a DTI, debt to income standpoint, you can afford more house. So now you can afford more house and you can go get a 3-unit property that may be above your price range, because you're going to get credited income that you're not even making, one, and then 2, you're not even collecting because you don't have a lease contract. And then you can Airbnb out one of the 2 and get a consistent renter in the other one. So, if I were to approach your situation, given the facts of Austin and the high cost, I would approach it like that.
And I want to add a little to that real quick. The 3.5% down, FHA, you need $3,500 for every $100,000 that you're going to borrow. So if you can get into a 4-plex, that would be the ideal. And those loans only allow you to get to 4. So 1 to 4, you're allowed to get a loan in that type. Anything above that, it's going to be commercial. So 5 and above is all commercial. So yeah, if you could get up to those 4 units and live in one and then rent out the other 3, that would be the ideal. And you don't have a family now, you don't have kids or wife, anything like that. As you grow, you can move out and say, 5 years from now, I'm going to get into something else, a duplex, and get something bigger. Or even then, it can constantly be making money for you in the future.
I didn't know those type of things, that I could afford more than I actually can afford just doing it like the traditional way. So that was a good one to know.
You don't know who I am, man?
I do. Sometimes you hear it from family, all the time you gotta hear it from someone else, but the way that you presented it is obviously a different way. But yeah, no, me and my
we don't get to get into the technical conversations.
Yeah, we haven't got
when we together. But I be telling you all the time, talk to me offline. Talk to me offline.
Yeah, great insight there, fellas. And I know that I know Ian, you're a realtor. You deal a lot with buyers, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Well, let me ask you this then, Ian. What's like the biggest mistake that you see first-time buyers make? I'm sorry, Aaron, I'm asking all like different questions. You may
dude, I would be totally conscientious. I think a lot of people get these jobs and they get pre-approved for a lot more than they can. And they're not really looking, like they're buying a condo or something. They're not really looking at return on investment, or like how they can make money on their property, So I think just being in here, man, I think is great. But I see people buying in areas that are depreciating or that don't really have, maybe not depreciating, but not going to appreciate at the same pace as so for example, Atlanta Northeast, like the Northeast side inside the city has always been really nice, really expensive, pretty much the North side and the Northwest. But now like in the West side, where the West side has been just, through governmental policies and stuff, it just hasn't been able to get to that level, so there's a lot of property and crime over there. But Microsoft just bought this huge data, like multi-use, so now properties have gone up like 300 times and they're probably going to keep going up. And then like Facebook bought a big market center all on the West side. So like I'm trying to steer first time home buyers into buying something, that's like the West side of Atlanta or something that's going to like appreciate, unless you just got it like that and you want to ball out, but it's a tool, man. Like it's a tool. It's not supposed to be like buy your dream house or make sure everything's perfect. Like you can do all that and make it how you want, but it's just a tool.
And I know long-winded. I know that a lot of millennials don't want to get a starter home. They want to jump into a 3-4 bedroom home. in the past, Gen Xers and baby boomers used to buy a 2-bedroom house. Once they have some kids, they would jump into a 3-bedroom, and then later on they would downsize. But right now, millennials just want to start their dream house right away.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many of them that are not buying, and like younger people aren't really buying homes. It's just a generation of renters.
Yeah. And just to piggyback on both of you guys' concept, it's going to be important moving forward in the future that you utilize your dollars to generate income. And while a home, I'm from the Robert Kiyosaki philosophy, a home is not an asset, even though we know it is on accounting. I'm very familiar with accounting, but a home is not an asset. It's a liability because it's taking away your money. But if you're buying that home in a strategic objective to achieve what you want to achieve as far as long term, then you're going to position yourself to get where you want. One of the reasons why I never wanted to buy a home is because I always wanted my first home to be my dream house. So I was always thinking from an investment standpoint. So if you're thinking from that standpoint, Ryan, you've seen my house that I currently live in. The first home is definitely the dream home. And fortunately for me, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. And it wasn't as a result of real estate, but it was a result of that financial thought process to where now I feel comfortable going into a home. I met my partner, and me and my partner together can afford the home that we purchased. So, those are things that you think about long term, because your income as an individual will always grow as long as you have the drive and the motive. But then in addition, if you're making the good investments, your income will grow also.
I just wanted to add something there too. When they said a generation of renters, a lot of these REITs are actually buying homes and, not allowing people to buy their own home. They're pricing them out. Some of these REITs are buying whole neighborhoods and then renting them out and making profit.
New construction, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy. That was something I thought about earlier today that nobody's really talking about. Rent's going to soar. Borrowing money is going to be a lot more expensive. So I meant to say also, borrow as much money as you can right now, in my opinion, because inflation is going to be here to stay. That's just my 2 cents, though.
And then for me, from a lending perspective, I've been in the bank for the last 10 years. Money is free, guys. And despite what anybody says and the fees you pay to get your loans, if you utilize money the correct way, it is for free. If you put it under a business LLC, you write off the bank interest, you write off the bank fees, you own a house under that LLC, and you're writing off the bank money and you're getting it back in your taxes, or you're writing down your income so that you don't pay taxes. So like for me, if you're concerned about those things, then you're not buying as an individual. I'm buying as an entity. And if you're buying as an entity, then you don't have to worry about interest rates soaring. As long as the cash flow makes sense, like you guys said earlier, as long as the return on investment is there, then you're not concerned about if the rates go back up to historic times where it was 13%, 14%.
And the reason why it took me, just to kind of put my 2 cents in, is the reason why it kind of took me so long to get a home was because I was constantly moving. So, I mean, y'all can correct me if this is a wrong advice or whatever, but what I've gotten advice on is if you're going to live there for less than 5 years and then you're going to move on, you shouldn't, as far as a military, this is from military perspective, then you shouldn't get a home unless the area is going to appreciate substantially and you can cover that, because you're eventually going to have to move and cover that rent too. And then you're going to have to find a renter in that area as well.
Like, yeah, better pay your commissions. Like, you better pay your. That's a great point for sure.
Yeah. At the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, period, you always have to have an exit strategy, and we spoke about it earlier. Like, you as a military person, if your exit strategy was going to be in 5 years, then you got to set rules to that exit strategy so that rule works individually for you. So I think it's important for an individual to understand their time frame, and as a result of them understanding their time frame, they can set their objective to make sure that, whenever I'm selling this house, whether it's short term or long term, it's going to be a benefit for me.
Just a quick little thing. As long as you've lived there 2 out of the last 5 years and you're single, you can still get, you can sell your home. And as long as it's not profit over $250,000, you're not going to get taxed on it. So I would say, buy the property. And if you're married, it's up to $500,000. So like I said, if you're there for 2 out of the last 5 years, that's money that you're growing. You want to build equity, you want to lower down the debts, and then you want to move your profits with you.
Yeah.
And you can do that, increase value in home improvements, and like a live and flip is a great example.
And just the area that I'm in. Sorry, was it Chris or was it Carlos that lives in San Antonio?
Chris, this week. Yeah.
Chris, yeah. And like you understand that connection between San Antonio and Austin, right? And like everything in between. And so just understanding that and understanding that if I live like in somewhere like in Buda, right, that property is going to increase just because all of that is just increasing year by year by year. And if that in between is growing with that, then kind of
And one thing that I've seen and I've kind of read up on is highways and gas stations as well as shopping malls. If those three things are slowly starting to pop up, people are going to move to that area, especially if they start expanding the highways. Because that means builders are going to move in and all that kind of stuff.
That's excellent insight. Other people invest because of certain things happening in the neighborhood, and that's excellent insight.
Yeah, it's one of those things as well. I read an article, it must have been a few months back, and it was about Starbucks, and it was basically saying if you want to see where a neighborhood's moving or where values are going to appreciate, look for a Starbucks.
Look, those are like little indicators, huh?
Yeah.
Starbucks, Whole Foods, yeah.
So
when you say it out loud, that makes total sense. It makes total sense.
I'll take you guys one step deeper. So when you see an increase in policing, certain areas like bad areas, increase in police presence, lots of arrests happening, all these things starting happening, they're cleaning up the neighborhood. And when they're cleaning up the neighborhood, that means that it's about to be a shift. So these insights you learn by being in a network of people. And sorry, the realtor on the line. What's your name again?
Ian.
Ian, you could probably speak to this a lot just from the insights you get from the statistical data that you get to see based on your job. So growth rate, everything that's going on in the city. And I don't imagine that you would be advising your clients to go to the West Side if you didn't think there was no growth potential there. You know what I'm saying? So, because I'm not in Atlanta, but I'm familiar with the West Side. You know what I'm saying? So right. It's like you guys, it's a lot of insight that you can get from just this call alone to make assessment and be able to be ahead of the curve, because the media is not promoting what we're promoting. Although we may seem like we're wrong right now, but because we know those little insights to look into prior to the shift, then we're ahead of the curve. So don't look at mainstream media. Like I tell people, because I work in the banks and I deal with stocks and all this. So a lot of people go and they want to watch CNBC, but CNBC is entertainment. And if you watch CNBC, either the sky is falling or it's a bull market. So it's like, it's no in betweens. That's strictly entertainment. But I'll tell you that the market is always making money regardless of what condition it's in. You know what I'm saying? So having the right people around you, having the right insight around you is the gist of a good decision.
Beautiful. Yeah, definitely well said, Michael. Man, I wish we could continue on a bit longer. I'm looking to have a stop here in the next few minutes, but if we could just real quick, just each person kind of go through, maybe what you're looking for, right? Are you looking for cash? Are you looking for partners? Any particular types of deals? I mean, starting with Justin, man, what are you looking for right now, Justin?
Well, I just got a deal that came up to me right now. It's 76 apartments. So we're looking for investors to syndicate and get into there and then sell them within 5 years. So we'll get more information right now. And then I'm also looking for another fourplex to start Airbnb or a beach house and do Airbnb. But yeah, those are the 3 projects I'm doing right now.
All right. Yeah. Happy to hear that, Justin. If y'all aren't too familiar, maybe Ian and Michael, Justin is pretty familiar with South Padre, kind of near where Elon Musk is firing his rockets. And a lot of growth is projected down there. So, Justin's right in the middle of it.
And then Justin, on your raise for the apartments,
okay,
have you secured lending as a resource to help you maintain equity?
No, this deal just fell in our laps probably about 12 o'clock today. It came up to us with and we're just going to start looking at, rent rolls. We're still going to look for the financing. We're looking for investors and things like that. So it just fell into my laps, this afternoon. So we're going to keep, we're going to be looking through all our options and the right investors and looking for, what we can do about getting that deal secured.
Okay. So the 140 units that I'm working on with this guy here in Bridgeport, I'm doing the lending side.
Okay.
And then he's going to pitch to try to raise the capital down payment that he needs in order to get the lending. When you're doing a capital raise, it could be a combination of equity and lending, but lending is a way that you can maintain more of the ownership.
Yeah, and I would love to connect with you, Michael, and see what we can do and we can move forward with your lending.
All right, sounds good. What about you, Chris? What are you looking for?
So right now, I'm kind of doing that live and flip as far as turning it into Airbnb. I figured it's best for the situation that I'm in, not only because, I'm using the VA to pay for the VA. It's in a lucrative kind of area. So I want to eventually flip this and get more advice on this and then move on to my next house and kind of do the same thing, whether it be here or whether it be somewhere else. Because I want to get to that point to where my houses or the extra income that I'm making is paying for my dream house eventually. And I know that that's very obtainable, within the next 10 years if I do it right, if I do it correctly. So that's kind of like my long-term and short-term. Short-term is just Airbnbs or rent it out, and then long-term is to eventually turn that into extra income to pay for a dream house.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Chris. I like the short and long-term plays there. What about you, Ian? What are you looking for, man?
Man, I just enjoy being in here and listening to your insight. Everything's, you guys are inspirational. But yeah, I'm just looking to grow. So being in here is really helpful, hearing everybody's opinions. I'm actually doing a dive. I was going to talk to you about this, Aaron, but I'm getting into commercial investment kind of brokerage now. And I'm super excited about it. All the dudes are pretty big players. So, they run syndication. So, in 3 months, we'll be doing that. So yeah, I just enjoy hearing about everybody. And man, I'm looking to get in the Airbnb game now. So yeah.
Beautiful. What about you, Ryan?
Man, like I said earlier, I didn't really consider Airbnb as an option, but now going into whether I do end up getting a single family or getting multiple units, like we talked about, just really trying to find the smartest way to go about it, as a first time buyer. And I've been real patient, just kind of looking, learning. Aaron knows this. We've been talking about it for over a year. And so just trying to figure out the right connections and the right information to do it right. I'm young enough to where if I do it right early, then hopefully I'm able to pass this information on to other people and help other people early on too. And so that's really my short term is the most efficient way to get into the Airbnb space, given the situation in the Austin area. Because it's tough. The Austin market it's not easy. So it's tough. So just trying to figure out where can I make it easier on myself.
Oh, cousin, it's easy money in Austin.
Huh?
It's easy money in Austin.
Yeah. It's easy money. And it ain't easy to get into the easy money. I tell you that because everybody's thinking the same thing. Yeah. So
it's easy money. You good. You're in a position where you could buy a house, so it's easy money. And we could talk about it later.
What about you, Michael? What are you looking for?
Honestly, guys, I got on this call because of my cousin. I'm happy I got on it though. Ian talked about the syndication that you're possibly about to get into. I would definitely like to chat it up with you. I come into deals all the time where people are looking for opportunities to raise money. So syndications are definitely a way of doing that. So I would like to partner with Ian if possible. And any of you guys that are looking for properties, like I said, I do the financing. I got a business in the works that I'm doing that will definitely be an Airbnb opportunity. So, just getting on this call and talking to you guys and hearing some of the insights that you're giving in regards to Airbnb, it was definitely beneficial for me from a research standpoint of that project. So, it's an awesome call.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, something's kind of brewing here in terms of the guys in this group. We have a lot going on here. We have Justin who, like I mentioned, is in the Valley, doing some big things and building up his portfolio. Ryan's looking to build his portfolio as well. Same with Chris and Ian. You know, we even have some guys in here that are looking to kind of step into the commercial space as well with some big players. We have some lenders in here. And man, you know, like I said at the beginning of the call, it comes at an interesting time. When I was talking to some guys in the office today about our client being able to make 24K in 1 month with, you know, deals that we finance for construction. And for me, it came at a cool time given that we had the call today, and it was real eye-opening for me. So it fired me up.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, absolutely, fellas. Well, you know, I appreciate y'all's time for coming on. I hope that was beneficial to y'all. I hope you got something out of it. You know, this is the first of many, and looking to scale it up, right? And if you're in Austin, we're actually going to have an in-person meeting next month. The date is TBD. Ian, we got to get you out here, man. Come on down.
I'm dying to come, man. I was just gonna say, dude, like,
Have you been to Austin?
No, I haven't. I don't know where, like,
yeah, come on down. We got you.
I'm gonna come, dude, for sure. I got you. Aaron, dude, super big thanks to Aaron. Always coming with super value, man. Like, gosh, thank everyone, each and one of y'all, because this call has been awesome.
Yes, definitely. Guys, make sure you don't lose this opportunity. Please share our emails so we can all have a contact list, because I feel like this definitely was a great call.
Yeah, I would just see if Aaron can just send like, hey, this is who was on the call, an email, and with everybody tagged in it, and then we can just go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Be glad to.
You could throw this video up on the gram too and tag us off.
Yes, sir. I might just do it.
For sure. No, it was a good.
Hey, I'm gonna send you my contract so you can pay.
There you go. It sounds good, Michael. Well, you know, all of y'all, I really appreciate your
time. You don't have to cut me out. I'm just joking. You don't have to cut me out. I'm joking.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, Michael. I appreciate all you guys for coming on. You know, I'll keep you guys posted. I will send out I'll get the email going together. Hopefully y'all can link up, do some deals together. If you're going to be in Austin, we'll have an in-person meetup next month. Like I said, TBD. We'll see y'all in the next one.
And give us any updates, like if things we talked about in here, if y'all guys end up doing something, y'all get a next step, man. I like supporting and hearing good things, like praise reports and stuff like that. So whenever y'all take that next step and y'all do something good, let us know.
Yeah, and if y'all could, I guess, to piggyback off what Ryan said, you know, we have that group, you know, the Real Estate Investment Network. I mean, if you're looking for someone to JV on a deal, or you're looking for, you know, any sort of supplier for materials, or you're asking a legit question, you know, feel free to put it in the group. You know, it's just, we're not wanting like, hey, look at my listing. It's more of like, we want it to be more of like a value driven group. You know what I mean?
It's a community. Yeah. We want it to be like more community driven, I would say.
Yeah. Totally.
I say that as if I believe that's what he's saying. My bad.
Yeah, man. We're all part of the community, man. All right, fellas. Well, I appreciate y'all's time, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.
Talk to y'all later.
Yeah.